Morning, we're back with the goats. So they're all here. We're going to move them. So it ended up being exactly 2 weeks they've been here. So I did a little update at 1 week and you can see the difference. So here's now 2 weeks. So you can see fence line straight down the middle. So where they haven't been, and they won't go there because we've got like some bulbs and all that planted there. I'll do that with the mower and the whip snipper. And then where they have been. So now we're moving them down towards the front of the driveway. Head down that way. So I've done a really good job. So first step for the goats is to get the collars on them and sort of tether them each to a tree so they can't tangle each other. That's where they'll stay for sort of 40 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour while I move the actual fence. So we'll get them all tethered up. Okay, so they're all tethered. So as you can see, a pretty effortless process. They know that having the leads on generally leads to more food soon, so they're pretty content to let you tie them up. Got to be careful where I tie them, just check each tree base, because we had one bad experience with Hermione here, was on a massive bull ant's nest. So she got like lots of bites. She was bleating, but she does that too, she can whinge a lot, and we assumed it was that, but it wasn't. So lesson learned for that. I tried to do them a little bit high with the tether, just so they don't get twisted around the tree so much, they sort of just chill out there. Alright, so we'll take apart the fence down here, bring that all the way back along, and step it all out so that we can try to get it spaced out effectively here. This will be a little bit hard to do with the phone, but I'll show you how I've found some tips and tricks for... Yep! Just yelling out, my son's gone back up to the house from the property, making sure he's gone up there. So yeah, what I've found works well is using your arm. So hooking it all on my left arm and curling your arm, and then collecting it with your right. Yes, okay. Collecting it with your right hand. So I find the balance point, obviously with the metal foot compared to the pole, is about here, about the fourth one. So I pretty much just grab it, hook that through my arm so it looks like that. Then I reach out and grab like the third one, hook that back over. So then you've got, oops, very tricky to do. You've collected a certain section. So you've got that sort of there. Then you go out to the next one, grab, hook that over your hand. So you're starting to like concertina, fold it over your arm. Reach for the next one, hook that over your arm, and so on. So you do that all the way along. You have all the poles at this end, all the spikes, and the other end here. And obviously the way I'm doing it, I'm ending with my insulated pole that I've wrapped with the pool noodle. It can go against fences, because that's the one I want to put down first against like a steel post at the fence, way down that other end down there. So I've been caught out before. I've wrapped it from the wrong end, and then my insulated pole's at the wrong spot, etc. And yeah, just doing this is sort of the quickest way. It ends up pretty heavy on your arm by the end of it, but you're only holding that for 10 minutes, 15 minutes max as you're then laying them all out. So it works quite well. So I'll collect all those now. So once I've made it to the other end, it sort of looks like this. Obviously all your spikes at one end, then your insulator pole on the outside at the other. And the bit of cord that I use to hold it against any post, I just hook that on my finger, drop these down, let that pull that back through the hole where I had my hands the whole time, and then you can just put it back through that little loop, lift her up. Then they're all tied together nice and neat. So it's an easy way to carry it as well. Put a little knot in that, you can lift it up by that, and you've basically got a grab handle then to grab it with, instead of having it hooked on your arm. So I'll head down the other end now and do it backwards, put this against the fence and work backwards, back up the hill as far as I can. So we're down the bottom end, so there's where the house is up there now. Come down the bottom, I'm probably going to connect to that post, come along, just keep it inside that fence line to this corner, then come down on the inside of those agapanthus, but then come around. That can be a sacrificial agapanthus because I want them to eat all that pond. They eat all that pond debris down, all that foliage and all that sort of stuff down to zero. So we'll come along there. Then we'll duck inside the agapanthus and come up along as tight as we can along the fence line here, along the road reserve. So you can see there's a decent amount of stuff in here. They'll go through this in a week though. They go through it really quick. So now I've got to go get their little house, bring the house down and put that in situ. So they've got somewhere to get out of any bad weather. Okay, the little house is in. So to chock up underneath that one with a decent sized rock just to bring it up to level. But she's sitting level now. The slope helps too. He didn't have to prop the front up at all. So that's them ready. Got their water there, got their salt bricks and all that sort of stuff. So that's really just shelter, water and salt bricks. That's about it really. And some bicarb in there. Then I get everything else from here. And then the food we give them, the hay. I've got a little tub here. I ended up grabbing one and drilled heaps of hole in. So that's a new one. I'll screw in with like a dog screw for like a dog tether through into the ground. That's where I'll chuck their molasses mix and all that sort of stuff that they have. So now I'll start putting up the fence. And we're all set up. So that worked really well. So that post there, the old corner one, instead of being internal, all I had to do was invert it back out the opposite way and then flip that original bit of fence down this way, and it came down perfect, meeting up. All I had to do was wrap maybe a foot around that pole, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. But when you've got to wrap, if you're trying to wrap that much, you might as well stagger some posts to take up the tension instead. We've got a little entrance here for the goats. So now we'll just set up our energizer just here again. It gets pretty good sunlight if you sort of have it on that sort of angle most of the day. So we've got our energizer here. I've got an S28, I think they are, energizer. Our stand to hold the energizer and our earth. So we'll get all that set up and then we'll go get the goats and got that opening for them to get in. Then we quickly close it up. They don't try to get out because as you can see, grass is greener here, so they'll stay here, no worries. I extended these because the original was way too short at times. We're trying to get this into a point where there's no shade, so it's a lot better now. Got more length. That's all set. We'll go get the goats. Okay, so they're in. So I'll hook up that energizer in a sec. I'll go in there and take all their collars off them and their leads. We'll set up this bucket just on the ground on the inside there to put all their food in when I want to give them grains and that, and then we'll test it with our little tester just to check that we've got power. I expect it to be pretty low, like 3 to 5k, due to lots of foliage touching, but they sort of eat that away. As you can see, they sort of eat right to the fence line, even when the actual power's on. We're all finished, so the goats are in. Nice area for them for probably get 2 weeks out of them, even though it's a week, because I've set up the extra food little bin, plus I give them hay every morning. So they'll chew down all this, as you can see. Felix is already getting into it. They'll chew all this down within a week, give or take. So they're really, really good at that. You can see here the little shelter just on this side of the dam. Works quite well. Got their water. Got a salt brick up top, some bicarb, old salt brick. And it's good, most of the poo in that does sit to the back corners anyway, and you can just clean that out every now and then. But as you can see, they're really enjoying this, so I'll do an update next week and show you how much of this is all just basically gone from them. If you enjoy these videos, like nature, goats, property maintenance, all that sort of stuff, feel free to hit the like and subscribe if it's of interest, and you'll see other videos like this. So cheers, thanks everyone.